And like that, the idea comes. For one, I'm drinking one of these cold coffees with like some kind of pumpkin cream or something. It's actually pretty tasty. It's one of those that actually the nutmeg, whoever designed the drink, the nutmeg works, but it doesn't last very long. So but it's good. It's good. It actually is one of these, and I'm like, yes, technically, it's not too sugary. It's at the point at which the ice starts to melt, it's not too sugary. So I could imagine when they were taste testing this, like, it's just so weird now that I get older that I could understand some things like that. While I was younger, I was just wanted to get hit in the face with flavor, you know. The neon flavor, taco smell. So something I was thinking about is the fupa. All these young women with fupas, little do they know. So all this healthy at any size. This I was thinking about this, and it's weird. It all came together this way. Why aren't you a personal trainer or massage therapist anymore? One was fucking up with California taxes, only to find out the California taxes actually was fucking with me. And that they design it that way. They actually have set up their system of taxation and that board, the franchise tax board and everything, so that, I mean, they can fuck you. They came after me only like 2-3 years ago. And I'm like, why are you coming after me now? I haven't been in operation for like over a decade. And it was the exact amount of time that they could come after me to try to get back taxes if I was in operation or something. And so that's the California taxation system on business. So that soured my view on having a sole proprietorship. But then the other part was helping people. At a certain point, I got tired of helping people. You've got to love it. You've got to love helping people. You have to love helping people when you're in a business like personal training and massage therapy and wellness and stuff like that. You can't get sour about people not doing it. Or one of the other things is, and this is actually, it just comes together all at once. A lot of this was my own kind of issues that I need to sort out in my mind. A lot of the blue pill stuff that I needed to have sorted out, but then also the rest of the world and the blue pill and the matrix overall. And so now more and more we're seeing this. We're seeing women in the prime of their life, this generation of complainers with more wealth than can ever be imagined. They're able to throw all this disposable income at hair dye and accoutrement and tattoos, yet they have these fupas. The fupa, the thing about the fupa, this is what the point about it is that it is a sign. It's all one of those things that almost only exists once a woman has already given birth or is at a stage in life that's pretty much where it's at, like 25, 26, you know. And it's like, you should have been on your fourth, you know, like by now you should have 4 surviving children, you know. And so the fupa, though, too young, appearing too young, even no matter when it appears, it is correlated to a whole bunch of other life-shortening illnesses, such as especially heart disease. We're now seeing with the Zoomers a generation of young women that a lot of these young women are going to have severe heart disease. And a lot of them are probably going to be on serious, like, meds to help both the heart, but that also has an effect on the brain. and that they're going to be on these kinds of drugs for the rest of their lives, until they lose significant amounts of weight. Populations, there's certain ethnic populations that are inordinately likely to be overweight. It is because they are mental. They are more likely to be mental, to have mental problems, and to not have an intact structure within their culture, or an intact culture that they, or the real one that I think this is when you don't have words, that the vocabulary level of your culture is so low that you don't have words to express a wide variety of ideas, so it's like being trapped. You are like blind and deaf, and already a bit mental, and so it must be like hell to have an extremely limited vocabulary, and then also with the extremely limited vocabulary comes usually an exposure to a very small amount of information, a small pool of information. And so the wellness culture, therapy culture, that people need therapy, people need some kind of course of wellness, that people need these gurus. A lot of this does come out of the modernist period. Instead of having priests, you would have your fitness trainer, you have a life coach, you have these people helping you all. You hire them so that you have higher levels of performance, and so that you could keep making more money, and it's very much something that you see, like a lot of the allusions to this in 70s sci-fi movies. You see some of this allusions to this in Star Trek, where it's like Riker is practicing the art of, Kimbitsu or something, or Botitsu or whatever, and it's like the ultimate martial art where we're blinded and we use a stick and we hit each other with a stick, but you can't see each other. Oh shit, only Riker is this fucking tough, He's an expert Botitsu. What's a jabroni Sue? I forget what that was. That was like the lamest martial arts thing. I'm like, wait, it's not even 0G. You're in space, Sorry. I was about to say something you can't say on YouTube. He called William Riker an N-word. Ooh, that coffee's strong. Okay, so helping people, one of the things that really hit me, and this hit me because, this affected me, is because it's like I didn't know what I wanted to accomplish as like some kind of athlete or martial artist or something. I just didn't want to die of cancer like my parents. That's it. That's all it was. That's why I learned martial arts, is because my parents died of cancer and I wanted to live a different lifestyle. And I kind of have. Because now, of course, I understand. No, there's a lot of the heart of the parent is the heart of the child, as the Japanese say. And I just had to start getting used to. There's going to be things about my lifestyle that are always going to remind me of the shortcomings of my parents. And that one has to separate themselves from their parents. This, I think, is also a millennial and a Zoomer weakness. I think they can't really separate themselves from their parents. They can't think of their parents as sort of, and the times that their parents were in. There's something mean and judgmental, in a sense, that rather than them thinking of it as, no, I have to see the parts of myself that are like them and understand what's different. And that has a lot to do with my times. And my own self-awareness, and then also beyond that, really something quite a bit more gossamer. I think that's a sense of destiny. Yeah. So having some kind of fitness goal, having some life goal, having a sense you fit in with the universe, and having a sense of destiny. These are just various things I realized, like, I'm glad now to encounter somebody like Aaron Clarey, who really makes it clear to people, like, no. Most of the time, the work you're going to do that's going to be remunerative is going to be something that you're not really going to enjoy. You're not going to enjoy doing it. That's why it's work. That's why you get paid. But I like that he's kind of gotten into this thing of, no, please let your dreams die. And don't really kind of fall for that idea, that separate hobbies from that which is remunerative. And I also like that he insists people take jujitsu, because I do too now that I'm older, and just have kind of a better sense of that kind of thing. And when I think about the training I went through, that's what I'd recommend now for most people is, to have a firm base in jiu-jitsu in some way. In gi and non-gi wrestling is just, but anyway, so you gotta want to really help people, want people to get better, want people to improve. You have to have fundamentally a sense that there's something like that you could deliver to the world. It's not that this died in me. It really was that I'm like, this is not where my strengths truly lie in a way that I'm going to help a lot of people. And there's something about the culture I'm not getting. This was a big one. You're not getting your market. And that's why I was still too blue-pilled. Thought I was going to save the world through, kettlebell lifting or something. Instead of understanding, no. Not only was that not going to happen, quite the opposite was going to happen. I'm going to have an entire generation with an overabundance of information on how to keep themselves young and fit. An overabundance of people like yourself who could even train them to do so. And no, you will not get the horse to drink the water. It won't happen. This is really something about the way the culture has gotten, and the embracing of kind of laziness and ugliness and things like that, and really the idea of that that it's folly to try to stay young. That idea hits at a certain point in the culture in a way that I think is kind of fascinating. That it's sort of this idea that why would you still watch these old television shows or cartoons or dress this way? You got to put the immature things behind you. And so one of the worst habits or hobbies and habits that people put behind them, especially when they get with a woman, is they stop exercising, because it's this idea like you're trying to keep up with the Joneses by staying fit or something. And it's not really this understanding of like, no, this is actually how you don't see the doctor. If you stay fit, you don't see the doctor. And this is something that I have had reported back to me over and over and over again from women, that once they started getting fit, that there was all kinds of minor aches and pains and all kinds of minor problems that just stopped occurring. They just stopped feeling bad all the time. And it's because, of course, that's the issue. The muscle mass makes the good feelings chemicals flow through your body. So you have good feelings rather than bad feelings flowing through you. And just this most fundamental aspect of what we're seeing in the culture now with FUPA girls, and that they're super negative. And it's like, of course, because you are loaded down with adipose tissue. You're swollen. You look like you've been poisoned. It looks like something is poisoning you, and you're probably poisoning yourself with empty calories and then bad thoughts. And there's nothing you can do about that. This is one of the things, like, I know there's motivational people who they're super motivators. And they'll have all kinds of terminology and like packages of motivational seminars that will go with their workouts and stuff. Hey, I just never was quite like that. I was very clinical when I would train people. So I just didn't have the same mentality about trying to make them feel really good. And it's just a personality thing. It's I wasn't a coach. I wasn't, I'm somebody who gives you certain good, solid clinical exercises to do to reduce pain, to activate certain nerves, to do certain things like that. I'm just really good at that because I could think of the body in those terms. I could think of how it works together, so how the entire system works. I could picture it very easily. And I found there was just people who they were surprised by this. And it's just one of those things. Like, it's just something that I could do. Wow, God, this is beautiful right now. The Northwest is so pretty. It is so pretty. But the death of, and then to see this hit men, and to see it become then this thing where I started to see these soft-bodied men who were irrational, and to the point where, it was like you were talking to a teenage girl. They were so effeminate and irrational and snarky that it was really like talking to a sassy little girl who doesn't know much, and just hasn't had much life experience. And and it's just something that, as time's gone on, I was like, this is something you had to have fixed a long time earlier than anything I can do. I just started to detect this when I was a trainer, toward the end of it, just enough that, and then also the constant sniffing around for every dime and nickel by a lot of like workout places and stuff, rather than them actually trying to structure a good solid plan. We have these people who are on the training staff. This is what we want to do as a goal to get people to sign up. We need to find the price point the people who come to our gym are willing to pay, rather than this thing of we only keep trainers on who can get this price point. Because what it did exactly what the fuck I knew it would do. And I always wanted to call this, because there are people who will say, no, the price point was the price point. You're bad at sales. Yes, I am. Yes, I was bad at sales. Oh, definitely. Price point came to a certain point, no problem at sales. Once the price point came to a certain place, no problem. And it wasn't until finally it was a professional, because those are the only people who could typically afford a personal trainer, that this professional, I forget what he was, I want to say he was an accountant or a bookkeeper of some sort, and he was just like, yeah, the personal training here is this much per hour. This is what my pay is in my field per hour. I knew exactly what he was trying to say. That he knew that it was not of the equivalent value. He knew that. He knew that that was true. And I know people will be like, oh, it's the value you put into it. And it's like, no, people who've been in personal training enough know you can be the best ever. And if your gym is run like shit, it doesn't matter, because the person is just simply not enjoying the environment. If the windows of the gym never open, they require AC, so the air in the place is all funky. If there's all these different things that it's like, that the lack of pleasantness of gyms ended up, and then weird rules like requiring that your people train a certain way according to the official company system, or this, that, and the other, or they have to buy these supplements, this, that, or the other. And you're telling this professional who they could read words, like, they know that what they're reading suggests that it will have this or that effect once they're working out regularly. They're not stupid people. And it really was this thing of the amount of rent in this area. If you were to drop the price point to this, you would make a gang of sales. That was the whole point. Don't know. If that gym makes a gang of sales, then it is solidly in competition with the ones that are more luxury, more top of the line in, like, say, a nearby Exurb, where the richest people in the area live. And I mean, and it really was. I was like, yeah, you guys don't have your act together on this. And also, this isn't really about helping people. But I'll stay as long as I could just get some work in the field. And that's what I did. And so it was really one of these things that I really had to think about it, that there was places that I was like, okay, this place with its clinical setting is perfect. All you need is a full-size gym. This place with its full-size gym, all it needs is a really good, solid training team. That the idea is that there's a level of membership that so much training comes with, fundamentally, so many times a year. And that's what draws the person back in. They're already a member of the club, is the idea. And that you include them more, and then you remember them specifically. That's good service. And finally, I got to see that. I got to see, like, how eventually that's what CrossFit and more of these kind of boutique gyms ended up figuring out, is that you need fundamentally a way of teaching people what to do, and then that brings them into, well, fundamentally, you teach them what to do, it brings them into the cultus, as like secret societies used to put it, in a way, that it brings them into the cultus, into the group. Then anything special going on is their relationship then you would have with, and we would call it then a trainer, and your specific trainer helps you with specific weaknesses and strengths, so that you could better do all the things that everybody in the group knows how to do. So, but you're already in the club. You're not like a double special member, and I know people are like, well, it's just purchasing services. It's like, yes, but the thing is, you're trying to motivate their mind and their heart, and that is a different kind of thing. And so that's why, like, I loved watching the evolution of the manosphere, because of the way that people would exclude and include people. that there's some people that they're brave enough to include people that they would disagree with. There's some people that their whole deal is, no, I'm very exclusive. You know, there's people who are just very, very exclusive in the way that they do their thing, because they're trying to help with a specific group of men, trying to help with their lives, trying to help with advice. It's for the health and therapy and the wellness of men, so that they could basically be young at heart forever. And I realized, you know, I don't know if I could have as much fun with YouTube and all that if I was to make a lot of money at it. I don't know if it would be fun. Now it's dangerous. I say things that, you know, are quasi-controversial. And, oh, it's so dangerous. The things you say, they might cause men to stay bachelors and enjoy their 30s, you know, and fuck hoes. I'm kidding. You know, stay away from the hoes. No, but, yeah. So it was just something I was thinking about, because I also wanted to make sure a little bit of my past and the stuff about personal training and martial arts, like why didn't he start a dojo and things like that? And it was because at a certain point I realized I mostly did it for me. You know, I wasn't really doing it so that I could pass on the secrets of the Shaolin Temple, and especially now where so much of that stuff is just out there. Like, this is like a weird thing to think of. Within my lifetime, I have seen ancient knowledge become a product that people have to beg people to consume. Like, that people are like, please pay attention to this ancient wisdom that, you know, I'm selling as a wellness and health system. And that these are like, at one time in the 90s, like people would have been eating it up, but now it's on YouTube and it's one of like 1,000 channels on the ancient Chinese secrets. You know, there's even things like there's like even some things that it's like I think about and I'm like, I never really mention to people like that's like a regular practice, quote unquote, of mine that keeps me young. Like that, and people know this. Like when they meet me personally and they're around me, they'll see me do this and they'll be like, what is that? I'm like, oh, it's this thing that helps ease, you know, the nervous system. It helps the nervous system, yada yada yada. And yeah, there'll be things that I'll do that people realize. They're like, yeah, that he has this fidget, and it said that fidget is actually an ancient Chinese secret. So yeah, I really did it for myself, and there's a part of my mind. And for a long time, I'd imagine some of you might think there was a part of my mind that was legitimately kind of like, you know, I wonder if it was like there was no altruism to me learning all this good stuff that I could teach others. I really did it for myself. So I was like, is that bad? But then at some point I was like, well, somebody had to teach me, and they had time, and I gave them money, and they got to teach what they wanted to teach. So and then I had to really accept the thing of the right wing and the red-pilled people of it is what it is. So yeah, it's saving the West is a side quest. I like that Dashing Rogue says that, because it really kind of saving the world is a side quest. Mostly just trying to keep on your discipline and stay on your mission and fulfill your destiny is tough enough. Yeah, and so it was just some thoughts I was having about that. Yeah. Svelte little thing running by. God dang, so many cuties. All right, later.